Why do I love this stuff so much?
Seriously, I love Halloween. I always do parties and I plan these, no joke, for months ahead of time.
So the spirit of Halloween lives inside of me and I must do her dark bidding.
I was first introduced to Halloween in America when I was very young on a family holiday to Florida. And is that just not the best place to be introduced to Halloween? The decorations, the costumes, the characters, it was magical. And not that saccharine Christmas type magic either. This was the proper, real, dark stuff. My mum never really liked Halloween and wasn't too keen on me being so interested in it. When I first asked her what Halloween was, she tried to downplay it and said it was all about people dressing up like skeletons and dancing around a fire.
And that just made me love it even more.
And it was too late, and her little darkling had been born, and I was going to spread my leathery bat wings and celebrate the holiday my way.
But what makes me love it so much?
Is it the weather? It's not too hot anymore, but it's not too cold yet. Is it because I get to dress up? I mean, I'm a cosplayer, so I get to dress up all the time anyway. Is it the food? Both Christmas and Bonfire Night do have tasty food, but parking never gets me quite as giddy as when I see a packet of Mr. Kipling's Fiendish Fancies on the aisle. But let's start at the beginning, by looking at the history of the holiday. Halloween is believed to be derived from the pagan celebration Samhain. But I don't care about that.
That's all the soul-enriching spiritual stuff. I'm not here for that.
I'm here for spooky-themed cocktails and scaring trick-or-treaters. I think maybe a big part is the creativity. I mean, you see some of the things that people do and it's so clever and it's so inventive, and I'm just here just wishing I could do something like that.
And that leads me to another idea, which is there are no rules at Halloween.
With other holidays, there is a set way of doing things. The food, the games, even how each day is supposed to go. With Halloween, all bets are off.
So it's because I'm a lawless free spirit, a true bohemian who just loves to express herself.
You may have heard that Halloween has another title, as Gay Christmas.
And that would be enough to make me love it forever. But we're here to deep dive into the primordial ooze of my subconscious. So, what does it mean by Gay Christmas?
The website wussimag.com did a great article on the subject, and I definitely recommend. Link in the description. It talks about Halloween's place in queer culture, starting with its more obviously camp elements, and anyone who knows me knows of my love for camp. But also the more affirming part of Halloween, where people can experiment with self-expression without fear of judgment, leading to more confidence in their own identity. Halloween is a time for the strange and unusual.
I myself am strange and unusual.
So Halloween is a holiday that embraces and celebrates the other. And I have always been part of the other. In fact, when I am feeling a bit down in the dumps, I sort through my collection of decorations and that tends to perk me right up.
However, this year I've not been as in spirit as I normally am. When I think about what I might do for Halloween this year, kind of end up upsetting myself. Yeah. We're gonna have to talk about it.
See, if you've been living under a rock this year...
Go back! Everything is still terrible! In fact, take me with you!
The viral sensation that's sweeping the nations. The largest global pandemic in living memory, and it has left a lot of us feeling completely lost. Not even having the words to describe how we feel.
And I'd probably include myself in that. I don't want to say, oh, I'm doing fine, because I feel like that's not taking the situation seriously, but at the same time I don't want to say, oh, I'm doing terribly, because I've been very lucky. I've spent most of this lockdown on furlough just trying to keep myself entertained.
During lockdown, one of the things I was doing was binge watching BuzzFeed Unsolved, and
You're judging me, aren't you?
I was watching some of the Supernatural episodes, one of which was the Ghoul Boys, Shane and Ryan, exploring the London tombs. And as I was watching, I started to wonder, as Americans, what do these two feel about the English attitude to take the real-life horrors in our history and make spooky little fun houses out of them? And I kid you not, just as I thought that, Shane replied by saying,
You know, there's a certain respect for the macabre in this country that you don't always see in other cultures.
Because Shane Madej is a demon, and he could hear me. Confirmed. Well, there you go. It's because I'm British.
I'm British.
And the culture does tend to take the darkest elements of history and make a spectacle of it. Yes, it is very important to understand the political impact of the execution of Thomas Cromwell.
But seriously, how many times do you think his head bounced across the scaffolding?
And this reminds me of another cultural theme that can be found across Europe. The old Danse Macabre. The philosophy behind it, besides being the Jonathan Creek theme, is the idea that death is the great equaliser. It comes for us all. The most famous piece of music named after this concept was by Camille Saint-Saëns. Definitely said that wrong. And it certainly starts all shrill and dramatic with an undeniable melancholy to it, but then there's this sudden burst of exuberance and it becomes giddy and whimsical and at times even romantic. Towards the end it becomes sombre and mournful, but then the tempo picks up again and this happens. A few last notes that hints to the audience it isn't over.
Long-winded descriptions of 19th century music. This is the content that the kids want, isn't it? Yeah.
Like Danse Macabre, Halloween still accepts the darkness of the subject, but injects a type of pleasure into it. Now, you could ask, is that in bad taste? Considering how awful this year has been for so many people, I found myself reassessing, what does my favourite holiday mean to me now? Is it really appropriate of me to celebrate something that's core themes are horror and death?
Haven't we had enough of that?
This is kind of why I'm doing this whole video, to figure out why I love it and what it can now mean during such frightening times. But as silly as this is going to sound, I think it makes it even more important to me. This year has reminded us all of how terrible things can get. We're doing our best, but we're still left as if we're powerless and have no control. But by finding ways to come together, accept and adapt, and celebrate anyway, it becomes a form of cathartism.
I guess I never did get over that stubborn phase, did I, Mom?